but it's all good. It's not bad. I don't. We'll work on it more. We just need to hammer it out because we got things to do, places to see.
people to see, places to go.
Just warming up. Warming up. Yep. Always hard. It's always difficult to, like, we've been talking for hours about like different things, and it's like hard to, because you got a camera and you're being distracted by the camera. So don't focus on the camera.
Well, we're gonna edit this part out.
No, I think it's fun.
No, we're gonna cut this part out.
My favorite part of podcasts is when they say cut this out and they don't cut it out, because then you're learning. You're learning.
You just don't. No edits.
Yeah.
Just live stream. So even though I just flipped off the camera, and I flipped off our 0 to 1 audience.
Yeah.
Remember?
They're gonna think it's funny.
You better think it's funny. You better think it's funny. It was funny. You laugh and you like it and you comment. That was great and hilarious. Underneath there, that he flipped off and yeah. So our podcast name is.
We don't know.
We don't know what our podcast name is. I say it's Hormetic Monks.
Hormetic Monks.
Go look up the word hermetic.
Yep.
And because you're ignorant.
Ignorant.
That's my vote. We're in the process of figuring out what name we're actually gonna choose, and Jacob has been lazy and has not yet come up with any names, any ideas for names.
Because we've been talking about like everything.
Yes.
Pretty much.
Yes.
No.
So, but yes, welcome to our podcast. This is I'm gonna just say this is the Hormetic Monks. And we can change it. But now it's already set in stone. No, just kidding.
Oh,
and we have a lot of interest from everything from relationships to business to marketing, sales. That's kind of clumped into business, but real estate, farming, Tesla, Elon Musk, influential figures, Gary Vee, all these people that are already in this podcast are not
in
Elon Musk
world,
Elon Musk is even sort of in the podcast world because he's a podcast guest. He doesn't have his own, but he's been on so many podcasts now, of which we've both learned tremendously from those podcasts, and we're just gonna see how this goes.
Yeah.
And we're vibing and chilling, and perhaps we can create some value to you guys through the process of us just being goof offs and dipping our toes in the podcasting arena, and we'll see how it goes. Nothing's scripted, nothing's really edited. We may edit at some point, but at this point in time, nothing's edited. We even have just this nice canvas backdrop here.
Yep.
That we just set up hastily, and I think we're just going to continue to see what happens and where things go. We don't even have any topics picked out for the first podcast.
Nope.
And but we're just gonna try to behave normally on camera.
Or not.
Or not.
Actually, try not to.
Try not to,
because it is different. We've been talking for literally hours this morning. It's 3 o'clock, something like that.
Something like that.
We've been talking about like life, everything, what our experience is, and exploring ideas. Like self-awareness is like a really big topic, and for me, it's probably the most impactful thing on my life is self-awareness, because it was also the most shattering thing, because when you get rid of your delusions and you face reality, because I I've not wanted to face reality, and it is insanely difficult to recognize things that are wrong with you as an individual. Like I recognized it because I went through experiences that were really, really difficult, and in response, I shut down, and I didn't want to give up. I didn't want to give up. There's things in life I want to do, and I wanted to, and I still want to overcome things as an individual to become a better person, like growing as a person. Little bit about my background is I was in a lot of network marketing companies, and I didn't do very well in most of them, and I recognized things and that I had problems with, and I just felt like I was a failure because of that, and I was really hard on myself because there's like this motto, it's like you succeed or you fail.
Right.
And I failed and I felt less than. And I didn't want to be less than. I wanted to succeed, but there's certain things that like I found out that I valued a lot, and that is one of the main reasons why I didn't succeed. Is because I care more about relationships than I do about money.
Right.
And even though I actually wanted to care more about money, then I wanted to care more about money, but I couldn't.
Right.
It's like at my core, I care about human beings, and I want to succeed, and I want to see other people succeed. I think that's, out of everything, that is like the most fulfilling thing I've experienced in life.
Yeah, helping other people.
Helping other people.
And when you're in network marketing, I've never been in network marketing, but I know I have family members that have been in network marketing. And I think it's a legitimate business model, and I think that there's a lot of benefits to network marketing, but it all comes down to, and we've discussed this before, it all comes down to products. Do you believe in your products? Yeah. And if it's also is, do you believe in your products, and do you care about people more than making money? But also, there's like this, if there's this internal conflict where you want to make money and you're not sure about the product, or you are, there's this internal dissonance to where when you're talking to somebody and you're trying to sell them something, it flickers across your face, and it comes across as disingenuous. And I think that's a lot of times where people struggle. But then also, I think it is too, and I think you've mentioned this before, where sometimes network marketing is kind of like reach out to your friends and family, harass them. If they don't buy from you, they're not a good person. They should support you, and if they don't support you, then just burn the bridge almost. And that's the toxic side of network marketing.
Two things came to my mind when you were talking about that, like personal experience. I'll be open about this. I've suffered from depression, and me as a person, I was attracted to network marketing because I've always wanted to skip steps in life, and network marketing really forces you to realize that you got a lot to learn. Like the people that succeed in network marketing are like, usually they've owned a business. The business, for some reason or another, like something like 2008, 2009 happens, it fails. That was a story that there was these people that were like really high up, making like over $1 million a year doing network marketing. They had a trucking company actually, and we're both interested in trucking company. So that's why I'm thinking about this. But they were professionals. They went bankrupt and they became like pro whatever. It's like a really high level, and they had freedom, but they learned professional skills. They learned professional skills and abilities, and that's why network marketing worked for them. And
they already had the conceptual base layer of how to operate a business, or maybe they already were in sales. and they already had those like sales hygiene.
Yes.
They already had sales hygiene down, and then they went into network marketing, and then that's how they succeeded. Whereas I think too, because like I said, I've had family members in network marketing, and I think a lot of times it's like and this is the outside looking in. I have no idea, and I'm not pointing out a particular company.
Yeah.
But a lot. It seems to me like a lot of the education within network marketing is lacking.
Yeah.
It's lacking.
Yeah.
And people that want to make money, they just jump in there because they maybe they want to skip steps like you were talking about, and I've wanted to skip steps my whole life too.
Yeah.
I think everybody wants to skip steps.
Yeah.
It's like you want to just jump to your end goal, and then the picture, the resolution of actually how to get there starts to get more clear. But the education in network marketing, I think it's too almost elementary to the point where it's harder for people to succeed unless they have that background.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. That's really well said. This is kind of jumping around. I do have I recognize my own ADD, and I'm not diagnosed, but I recognize.
I diagnosed
just kidding. Yeah, I have a hard time like with the train of thought. Like I was talking about like depression, and I realized I jumped into like another thought process. So I'm jumping back to the depression part, and where, and this is because I went through this experience, and it's really terrible. Like, I isolated myself because I was trying to sell to all my friends and everyone.
Yeah.
And all the power to my good friend Nathan. Like he stuck it out with me as a friend. Like he's been, I consider him family. Like I was telling him, I'm like, you become best friends until you become family, and then you find new best friends. So we're best friends.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, isolation. That is a negative in network marketing, because you haven't grown, and you are trying to skip a step, and you see the potential. You see the potential there, and you see the light at the tunnel, because I was always looking for a light at the tunnel because in a way, like life is a series of events of just like suffering, like you're suffering through life.
Yes.
And I see it all the time. I see where people just do not recognize the things in themselves that like other people can see plainly, and they don't want to look at them. And I have been the person that I did not want to look at where I was failing, because I needed like friends and stuff like that. I needed feedback, but positive, because if you've got a person that isn't in a good place mentally, and this is one of the reasons why I believe we both want to do a podcast, is because we're trying to relate, and we were looking for people. Like me, I was looking for mentors. I was looking for people because I wanted help. I needed help because I didn't know how to navigate life.
Yes.
And I've gone through a lot of experiences, made bad decisions, but they weren't bad decisions. They were learning experiences. I would have said they were bad decisions because I'm super hard on myself, but it is all about learning. It's all about learning. And having empathy and caring about other people. Yes.
Yeah, and I think I think there's different reasons why, and I think a lot of times we, in this day and age of podcasting, of this digital world we live in, a lot of people are isolating. A lot of people are isolated. And I think too that, you know, when you're younger, you're going through high school and you make some friends, and then you kind of go out into the world and you lose a lot of those friendships, just through time, and maybe it's due to some of your flaws, maybe it's just due to just time and people move away, and and it I don't think it's hard to make friends and form a community, but without the concepts of how to do that, a lot of people are stuck, and I think we find ourselves in that scenario where we're interested in business, but yet we don't know how to do it. We don't know how to execute on that.
Yeah.
And but there's all these inspirational aspects of listening to other people that have succeeded, but yet you don't have that community to try to learn from.
Yeah.
And once you've lost a lot of your friends from high school, you're just kind of like by yourself. You're in the workforce, and it's just like inflation's crazy, cost of living is crazy. Everybody's just trying to survive on the lower economic ladder, and maybe you come from privileged background, or maybe you're exceptionally gifted, or you had mentors and you're able to escape that. But a lot of people have been stuck down, and they've been stuck in these $30,000 year jobs, these 40, 50, 60, even $60,000 a year jobs, and it's just it's a grind, and that's also a problem. Is like we spend so much time working that it's hard to build a network. It's hard to build a network because by the time you get done with your job and you've made food and you've done all the necessities of life, there's just not a lot of time left. And I think we've come from a background where we've went through that, and you were talking about how you've kind of like you went through a period of time with network marketing where it isolated you.
Yeah.
And I've been similar, and I think for me it's been a lot of like insecurities and not wanting to put myself out there.
Yeah.
And so I've isolated myself too, and everybody has their thing.
Yeah.
Their thing that isolates them.
Yep.
And I think so. Podcasting for us too is also a chance to try to build a community and connect with people. And so going forward, if there's anybody that is looking for that listens to our podcast and that finds value in or finds similarities in themselves, and they're looking for a community, we are looking for you.
Yeah.
We are looking for you, and we would be happy to talk to you. We would be happy to spend time together and try to form those relationships and try to grow together. And we're not trying to be we're not the Gary V's of the world. We're not experts. Yeah.
I do have one caveat, or like one thing that, because I've like listening to so many different podcasts, I will have we will have initial conversations with you, because the thing is like some like self-awareness, stuff like that. Sometimes there are things like a disconnect or something, and like it's like an interview for a job.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah.
Like there's a reason why there's interviews. Is this gonna work or not? There's certain things, because at the end of the day, it's not just about us. It's also about you guys. Yeah. So if there's a person or individual that we bring on and it can be a negative or something like that, or like there's like something off.
Yes.
That can be a really negative experience.
Yes.
And we're like, and saying that as well, I'll be more open to talking to people that I disagree with and stuff like that too. Yes. But this is also a learning process for us. Yes. Because we got to grow. We have to grow. Like we're just starting this, so we know there are many things that we do not know. At least me. There's many things I do not know. Yes. And I will, like, there's times where I'm gonna be wrong, but I promise you, if I find out that I'm wrong, because I'm we're both very self-analytical, and we definitely care, and I don't want to put out information that isn't going to be something that's going to positively impact your life.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And so when in the future, when we have guests on, we're going to try to be very careful in who we choose to have on, because we want to bring value to everybody in our community and our ecosystem. But that being said, we are planning on having on guests that are going to not share the same ideas or the same values as us, because we recognize that we don't have all the answers.
No.
And I think an open dialogue and open ideas, open community to where everybody can talk and everybody can share their voices is paramount, especially in today's world. And I think we can all grow and learn from other people's ideas. And so we're going to be bringing on people with different ideas to challenge our ideas.
Yes.
Because
100%.
Because I think we have a lot of good ideas. But I think we'll all benefit from being challenged.
Yeah, I do agree. That's a good response.
Yeah. So when we have guests on, don't feel like our guests always accurately represent our beliefs or values. Just know that we are trying to learn and also trying to get this open dialogue going with other ideas. And so our views are not going to always reflect our guests.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of where we're going with this.
Yeah, people are so interesting. Like I love people. I love interacting. Like every interaction that I have, I really do try to make it positive. Like people are so fascinating. I mean, that's why podcasts. I mean, how many hours of podcasts do you think you've listened to? If you had to guess, like it's in the thousands. It's in thousands of hours.
It's in the thousands, and I think this is the other thing is for the past 5 or 10 minutes we've been talking about how we don't have all the answers. We've struggled. We don't have all the ideas. We're looking for a community, etc. But we also have had some success professionally.
So yeah,
and I can't speak to everything that Jacob has done, but he has told me some of the experiences that he had. It's pretty wild, all the things that he's gone through, and all the struggles that he's dealt with, his triumphs, his times where he's won and times where he's lost. And for myself, I grew up in very rural America, Michigan, but country, very country, and so I think that was kind of my upbringing, very Christian, very conservative, and very rural, and with not a lot of, I was also homeschooled, not a lot of interaction with other people. But then after I got a little bit older, I think it was around 17, 18, got my GED, went to college, Lake Michigan Community College, did a 2-year degree. I have associates in applied science in radiology, and I then I've worked in hospitals as an X-ray tech. I then worked at an urgent care for 3 years, and I decided to leave that, and I did customer service for about a year. I am now in the trucking industry. I'm a trucker. I think that trucking is very interesting. All these industries are very interesting, but we are trying to escape the rat race. We're trying to escape the lower leveraged and lower paying jobs, and I think we've made decent money relative to I think where we came from. I'm making about $60,000 a year. As an X-ray tech before, I made probably around $55,000 a year. But what we've come to realize is that all these jobs, you can jump around industry to industry, but most of the time, they need to be a stepping stone to something greater, if that's what you desire.
Yeah, goals.
If that's what you desire, and and so, but we have had some success. We're not, you know, we haven't just been at home for all our lives, and we're just like, oh, we're gonna try this podcasting thing. we're just these individuals that haven't progressed even to the point of holding down a steady, decent level income, paying jobs. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, imposter syndrome can be something like that. Like it, I've felt like an imposter most of my life. Most of my life felt like an imposter because it's part of it is like really not accepting yourself, who you are, and but here's the thing. I have a lot to I have suppressed myself my whole life, and I have a lot of things to say. I have a lot of things to say, and you can attest to my
Yes.
We've been talking, like 20. I don't even know how many hours.
Yeah,
last
many
week.
hours.
I mean, he's trucking, so like he calls me, and like I think the chemistry, because we have backgrounds that like are different, or we've gone through different experiences, but there are just so many things that we're both interested in, and like different experiences, different perspectives, and I'm like you're a very, very open-minded person, and I appreciate that so much. And
likewise.
Like judgment and stuff, we grew up in like Seventh-day Adventist religion. We've all like, if you know it, like if you're familiar with that, you've experienced a lot of judgment, and like I've always wanted to be a good person. Like I felt like I wanted to follow the rules, like I was a rule follower, and just like didn't really get in trouble that much. I did when I was younger, but I did get in trouble, but like I avoided trouble like a plague. I just wanted to be almost like left alone.
Sneaky.
Very
sneaky.
Sneaky. You weren't allowed to play video games, or you were allowed and then you weren't allowed.
Yeah.
And like it's kind of funny. Like I've had this analogy where like like playing video games when you're not supposed to makes it that much more fun.
Yeah. Exactly. And that's also something that like I feel like just to kind of touch on that for a second is that it's an interesting idea that almost everything in life that is like taboo, and this is just a thought here, but anything in life that is a taboo, it automatically becomes 10 times more exciting than just the behavior alone if it was not taboo. Not to say that you should do those things, but like but I do think like, okay, like if you take drugs, for instance, I mean, you guys see that we're hitting a vape. I mean, that's nicotine, so that's a drug. I got coffee here, which is an accepted drug. It's not taboo. Nicotine's not taboo either, but it's more taboo than coffee. It's like for some people it's not taboo, and then other people's it is taboo. But I just think it's interesting how that goes, where it's like playing video games when you're not supposed to when you're younger, as a young person living with your parents, it's like sneaking, it becomes more fun, and video games are already fun to start with. But anyway, that was just I digress, but it's just it's an interesting idea how that works.
I mean, where my brain goes to this, I've had close friends that have died from drug overdoses. I know this is getting heavy, but
going right into the deep end, baby.
Going right into it, because it's like not being educated leads to deaths. Not understanding. So when people say drugs are bad, don't do them. People are still doing drugs. They're still doing things. And I have a close I'm not going to go into that, but I have had friends that died in the past, and they were amazing people. They were beautiful, amazing people that I loved and I cared about, and they passed. Like, that is really, really difficult. And the reason, there's a major problem with it, because there's a stigma about talking about it. And if you don't talk about it, guess what happens? everything goes into chaos because there's information not being shared. There's people that are afraid to talk about it, and this is honestly a scary thing for me to even like be talking about because it can have detrimental things to your life, like
Yep.
socially, stuff like that, and
Mhm.
it's a scary topic. But you know what? Like, I think, I mean, right now, there's two things that I'm super passionate about, and I see are just detrimental to society right now. Fentanyl overdoses,
Mhm.
and people aren't purposely doing fentanyl. It's laced in other drugs.
Mhm.
So, if you are not educating yourself and you think you're taking this drug, but you're actually taking another drug, something like that, like that's where a lot of the deaths happen. And there's definitely malevolence. Like, man, I mean, I've been curious because I've like my friends died. My friends died. So I've talked to people that have overcome these addictions.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've talked to homeless people.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, and an important part of that is, like you were saying earlier, is not tabooing the topic of drugs.
Yeah.
Not sitting there and
don't ignore the problem. The problem doesn't go away.
No, the problem doesn't go away, and I think that the more that, and I think it has progressed to a large degree, that people are willing to have an open dialogue about addiction. But I think we need to keep pushing that.
Yeah.
We need to keep pushing that because a lot of people are dying from fentanyl overdose, and it's the thing is like I think everybody should be able to do what they want with their own lives. And if
their body, pretty much.
Their body.
Yeah,
and if they wish to choose to engage in behavior that's a little bit more risky,
mm-hmm.
by taking a substance, like cocaine, there's nothing wrong with that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think personally, I don't think it's a good thing, but
just do a little bit of research into like these like stimulants and stuff. There's very negative things, and you don't think about it, like especially when you're young, you don't think about certain things.
The negative long-term impacts. I think too. It's like you're choosing to engage in risky behavior, and I think that's fine I think as long as you're educated, because what becomes a problem is, especially with younger people, is if you're choosing to engage in these activities, but yet you don't actually understand what the long-term implications of say doing cocaine is, then you're not really at a vantage point to make a decision. Maybe if you were educated, you wouldn't be making that decision to engage in risky behaviors. Maybe you would. Maybe you would, and I think that's fine. But that's why I think we want to. That's a topic that we're both interested in.
Mm-hmm.
Drugs. We've used some drugs. I haven't done cocaine, but I mean, everybody's used drugs, and what I'm talking about is alcohol. Yeah. Everybody has. I mean, not everybody, but a large group of America and just the world engages in the use of recreational use of alcohol, and that's not taboo. That's not taboo. That's mainstream. That's acceptable. But alcohol has a lot of long-term consequences to it too. And I think alcohol is a great drug for a social lubricant. It's nice to be able to relax, and I think I choose to engage with alcohol in a very like I realize that there's long-term implications.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'm fairly educated on it. I'm sure I have room to learn more. But engaging in it in just the short periods of time, in moderation, I think it's fine for me as an adult to choose that.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I think that alcohol is just like every other drug out there.
If you're brutally honest, and that's the thing, is like learning how to be brutally honest with yourself. Like if you've heard about Dr. Huberman, he talks about alcohol in depth, and he's like really, he goes down to it. I mean, 3 drinks a week or something like that. He said like that's not the worst thing in the world, but that's like what you should limit it to.
Right.
How many people are, like that only drink 3 drinks a week? Not many.
Not many.
But yeah, it has majorly harmful effects, and we all know about hearing about alcoholics and like all that stuff, and
Yep.
it is an important topic.
Yep.
Yeah.
And some people, due to their genetics, their family genetics, are far more predisposed to being alcoholics.
People with concussions.
People with concussions.
Yeah.
And you know, I think that I think it's something that's worth talking. It's worth. I know there's already conversation online about this. You mentioned Dr. Andrew Huberman.
Yeah.
I think he's an excellent source of information.
Excellent source.
I can't recommend him enough, and I think you would say the same.
Yep, 100%.
And
I've heard things that I did not want to hear. But here's the thing, that goes down to being delusional. Like, I have lived my life up into a certain point to where I remember the time and place. I'm like, I want to be self-aware. I want to recognize the flaws.
Yeah.
I want to. And when you say something like that, guess what? It's not going to be fun. At least it could be fun. It could be fun, especially when you have support.
Aspects of it.
Aspects of it.
Yeah.
It is over the long term beneficial. The short term you sacrifice, because it can be earth shattering.
Yes.
And you may find out things that you really didn't want to find out.
Mm-hmm.
Painful things. But that's where, like, that's why I enjoy talking to Patrick, is because I'm able to, like, voice my own, like, you're dealing with traumas almost in your own way.
Everybody. Yes.
Yeah. And it's helpful to be able to talk things out and really get things off your chest.
It's cathartic.
Like, no one's perfect.
Yes.
No one's perfect. I make mistakes. I'm going to continue to make mistakes. But my intent, what is your intent? I got this from Jocko Willing. What is your intent?
Mm-hmm.
Your intent is to become a better person and set goals. Like, I'm really interested in the military, and I learn a lot from like the way the military functions, and I think it's very applicable to life. But like, let's say you get discharged. I've heard it. I have not been in the military, but I'm fascinated by it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's a lot of values. But like, veterans, people that fought for, they saw their friends die.
Yes.
And
that's trauma. That's
the most. I can't imagine it.
Yes. I think that's probably one of the most traumatizing things.
Yeah.
That's one of the most traumatizing things. And just a real quick thing, just to be clear, it's not, when we talk about these things, whatever topics that we have, whether it's the military, whether it's the use of drugs, addiction, all that stuff.
Not experts.
We're not experts at all, and we're not delusional. We know that there's people out there like Dr. Andrew Huberman that are far more qualified to talk on the subject than us. We're not looking to be Dr. Andrew Huberman or represent ourselves in that way.
Yeah.
We just think that the more information that is out there from more sources, the better. So we're looking to reach. We're looking to add to that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
We're not delusional to think that like this is a need that hasn't been filled. Yeah. There is a lot of people that fulfill this need of talking about these things, exploring these ideas, having these conversations. But we're looking to expand on that, because I think the more resources that people have, the more information, the better. It's not a negative thing, and I think there's going to be people that connect to the way we see the world and our experiences that wouldn't connect to Dr. Andrew Huberman, and so I think we're trying to fill that gap. We're trying to add to the conversation, and we're not trying to be the conversation. Yeah. By no means.
Yeah. But I want to draw attention to people that are smarter than me. That are not meant. I mean, that's kind of derogatory towards yourself. I'm not meaning that, but there are people that have skills. They have skills and abilities that are like I can't even comprehend them. Like like being a doctor.
Yeah.
I can't comprehend being a doctor.
Yeah.
There's engineers, there's people that are brilliant, and
Yep.
those if I find someone that I respect
Yep.
and admire,
Yep.
I'm going to be recommend them, because it's not, I'm not playing a zero sum game.
Yeah. Yep.
Not playing a zero sum game,
Yep.
because when you're trying to play a game where you're just like trying to like, yeah. Anyways, yeah, I'm like Dr. Huberman, Dr. J. Peterson,
Yes.
Jocko Willink,
Yep.
Daryl Cooper.
Yep.
There's so many different things that
Mhm.
like I have so many different interests.
Mm-hmm. And
yeah,
and I think it's important to realize, I think that there, and we've talked about a lot. There's a lot of people that on any topic that we engage in on this podcast, there's going to be people that are thought leaders in that space, and that are far more they have a far more qualified, and they have a higher level of expertise. But there's also it's like in life, I think that you need those people that are ahead of you. You need those people that are on the same level as you, as far as understanding in any topic. And then it's so helpful to be able to try to help the people that haven't reached the level of understanding on a particular topic that you have.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to surround ourselves with people that are on the same level as us, so we can continue to kind of share and grow as peers. We want to surround ourselves with people that are far more experienced us in particular topics, so that we can grow.
Yeah.
And we want to surround ourselves with people that haven't reached our level of understanding, so we can help them grow and just be a positive impact on the world.
Yeah. And some people might take that the wrong way, and I do.
Yeah, humbly, very humbly.
Yeah,
very humbly.
Yeah, no. Just know we are coming from a good place.
Yeah, our intention is good.
Yeah, our intent is, and like we had the same thought process earlier, and like sometimes even though your intentions are good, sometimes it can go wrong, and anything can happen.
And we apologize for the mistakes that we make.
And I'm really gonna like work hard and like make sure, like checking myself to make sure that like I don't want harm to come to anybody.
Yes.
And if what I say, or I apologize. I'm coming from a good place, and I definitely, like, I do care. Trying my best.
Yep.
Trying my best.
And that's all we can ever do. And even people, I think, that we personally look up to. We've mentioned them, Dr. Andrew Huberman, Jordan Peterson. There's so many, Timothy Ferris. There's so many people in different aspects of health, wealth, relationships.
Yeah.
That I guess those are the main pillars. But there's so many people that we look up to, and I think too in society, and I have a tendency to do this as well. They make one mistake, and everybody wants to tear them down.
Yeah.
But we all make mistakes.
Yeah.
And we are all screwed up, and we're all trying. I think most people are good, and most people have good intentions, and so I think we want to increase our ability to show those people mercy and kindness and empathy, and we also would like to be treated in the same manner.
Yeah.
So I think if people can show us empathy and mercy when we screw up, that's what we're hoping for. We know that there's going to be some detractors and haters, and there always is. And I think that's fine. I think it's also a good part about life, because you do in some ways need people to criticize you for the mistakes you made, so that you can grow.
Yeah.
And so detractors are also welcome. If you're a hater and you want to leave a comment and say, da 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 da, Patrick, you suck. Yeah. Patrick, you said this is not true. We welcome that.
Yeah, I mean, going on that though too, I may or may not read the comments, to be honest, because it. I know that, like, naturally, like, if you talked to me a couple years ago, I would have been reading all the comments, the comments.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: is like, I see my intent. I do have confidence in where I'm going, and sometimes certain feedback is not even necessary, because, I mean, Joe Rogan doesn't read any comments, and I don't know. It may not make sense, but he recommends all the people that do podcasting don't read the comments. Like, I know you probably will.
Yeah, I'm probably going to, because I'm a little bit of a masochist. I think I think that, you know, I think it's all about understanding yourself. Yeah. And it's possible that I'm not understanding myself, and when I read the comments, I'm just going to be destroyed. But I think that I think that for me at this point, I will read the comments, and I'll try to reply to you guys. Yeah. And I'll also be sharing the comments with Jacob that I find that are relevant feedback. Yeah. The few that I think that are going to be relevant and are going to be impactful to feedback for Jacob, I will be reading those and I will pass those along. But I think I'm going to be like a little bit of a filter. Yeah, moderator. Well, yeah, a little bit of a moderator. Yeah. And so and maybe that'll change. Maybe I'll decide to stop reading the comments too if I come to a greater understanding of myself. Yeah. But and I find that I'm not seeing myself correctly, and I would be best served by not reading the comments. But yeah. Sometimes in like, I mean, there's a reason why I listen to certain people, because if you listen to people, like, even if their intentions are good, just like I was saying, the caveat, even if you have good intentions, you may be wrong. Yes, and absolutely. I mean, through the experiences and interactions, I really like my brain. I want to do things that are gonna work, and I see the outcome in a positive. Like, things happen positively when you use these skills. Because I mean, I've taken, I don't even know how many courses I've taken, and I've listened to so many different people. And I at first I would just listen to them, and I got wrong advice, and the follow up was things that dramatically impacted my life, and like, I'm just gonna be honest, like, it almost crushed me one time. Cause it's like, and when you have a failure that big, and it was off of advice from, I still respect the person, I understand where he was coming from, but you have to know where you're at, and like the risks you take. How, if I do this, how is it going to impact me after I've gone through this, and if I failed? Right. So it's because I was so optimistic that I was going to succeed, because you're just believing that you're going to succeed, and then you end up failing, and that can be really, really crushing. It can be. So that's a caveat to why I may or may not listen to or read the comments, because I know where I'm going, and I'm confident about that, and I am listening to people that have a proven track record of succeeding. So that is one of the reasons why I may not. Yeah, so, and maybe you'll change. Maybe I will. Maybe I will. But I think like, what I have to say is what I'm saying right now. Yeah. And you can it's not like that probably what came out wrong. No, I feel like I've navigated life to a certain point, and I know where I'm lacking and stuff like that, and I'm actively working on those things. Yeah. Actively working on those things. And yeah, I mean, the guests, like, I want to bring on guests that I'm like, they it looks like they've got it going on. They have a pretty solid foundation. I'm working on my foundation as a person. Yeah, same. Because I'm working on that. So, and I've already seen the track record of this person's life. They've got to this level, and I'm going to be listening to that person. Yep. So, yeah. So, I mean, we'll kind of you know, I'm sure we've been just rambling on like just a bunch of chattering
Yeah.
monkeys, but like,
and I know it's kind of heavy too. Right? It is heavy, but
Yeah.
I mean, this is an outline. So we're being more serious right now, but we'll have fun. I mean, we have a blast. Like I can't wait. Like honestly, and oh yeah, the goal setting. Like our goal is to
Yes.
do this once a week at
Yes.
first, because
Yes.
we're both busy.
consistently.
Every week consistently. It's a commitment.
It's commitment.
And
Long
if you
term.
know me, I've had issues with commitment.
Yeah.
Issues with commitment. I've been all over the place, but I think there's awesome pros to that as well.
There is.
Because if you look at things with black and white,
Yeah.
I have experience. I have a lot of experiences in life that were negative, positive, but it's all information and data that I've gathered.
Yes.
So I'm like, and I'm using that because I have this saying that I thought about, and it's kind of like stealing in a way. Or great art, or good artists copy, great artists steal. That's kind of a funny saying. People are like, "What is that?" Well, it's basically the wheels already been made, and
Yes.
you're not like taking other people's material and stuff is wrong. Like
Yes,
you don't
and
want.
we're not
We're
gonna
not.
do that.
No. What we're doing is like people that are freely sharing this information that genuinely have empathy and care about other people. They're freely giving this information.
Yes.
So I'm going to find that information
And
that's
share it.
very valuable
And
and
share it.
learn from it.
And
share
if,
it.
And if
Yeah.
we ever share something that you know is from somebody, and maybe we don't reference where we got it from, we apologize, and we'll try to do better at it.
Yeah.
But
I'm not
I
too-
think
yeah.
I think most people are going to be fine with us sharing their
Yeah.
information. And you know, it's just like what you touched on it earlier. There's almost nothing new underneath the sun, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a kind of a common axiom, but I think it's true for the most part.
Mhm.
You know, if you think about like essays, you know, writing essays,
Yeah.
the chances of you having an idea that someone else hasn't had in the past is almost none.
No. Yeah.
You know, now I get that there's new technology, but we don't even know if that's new technology or if that's technology that has been invented and then lost
Yeah.
in the long
In the
history of
ancient history.
in ancient
Yeah.
history.
We're gonna have some fun with this. My wheels are going. I already have like a whole roadmap on that just alone. But we probably won't necessarily get into that today.
No,
but.
probably not. But I think it's important to think about that and say,
Yeah.
you know what, like, you know, we're all just you know, growing individuals, and yeah, but
Yeah.
the ideas are not. There's really no new ideas. I don't think there's. I would even say that my opinion is that there probably is not much new technology. It's probably has been technology that hasn't been invented at one point and then lost in ancient times, and it's interesting too. So, you know, Jacob's gonna have. So Jacob kind of referenced earlier on in the conversation about the Seventh-day Adventist religion, and he has gone through experiences where he felt, and correct me if I'm wrong, but he felt very judged.
Yeah.
And I think that goes on in a lot of the churches, not just the Seventh-day Adventist religion, but all religions.
Yep.
I mean, it happens also in, you know, societies and groups that are atheists and of all different types of ideologies. And so like it's not. But this is where I want to say that we are going to have differing opinions on some things. We're not in agreements on everything, and we're also going to explore that, and that's going to be interesting too, to see where we differ and where we break across lines. I would say I still consider myself a Seventh-day Adventist.
Yeah.
But I'm also growing and learning, and I don't necessarily accept. I don't accept all I don't accept all the. At least at this point in time, I don't accept all the ideologies of the Seventh-day Adventist Church, even though I consider myself still one.
Yeah.
And maybe that'll change in the future. But we have differing opinions on Christianity, and ideologies in regards to religion, and that'll be interesting exploring in the future as well.
I 100% respect that, and one thing that I've really paid attention to is like when you start believing you're actually like I've caught myself believing an ideology and actually trying to convert people just because that's kind of human nature.
Yes.
And I'm conscious of that, and I'm not trying to convert anybody to think the way that I think.
Yeah.
I think and I don't want to change what you believe or anything like that. Like,
you're just sharing your experience.
I'm sharing my experience, and if you relate to it, I've talked to many people that have gone through similar situations and where they've come to a point. And I mean, because religion had such an impact on how my mental state was, like it really, for me, my experience is it turned me towards depression because I took everything really hard.
Right.
And like, oh, I sinned or something like that.
Right.
And that was a negative, and
Yeah.
it really guilt.
Yeah.
Guilty. I'm
Shame,
a terrible
guilt.
person. I'm a terrible person. And in reality, like I was just hating myself, and that is wrong. Like it's wrong, and like being in the professional world, safety is super important. And when you are degrading yourself so much, I needed to figure out other alternatives because this wasn't working for me personally. So I went into like so much research, like into history and all that stuff, and I love history. I love it, and I look at we're both actually. I think we're both pretty good at pattern recognition.
Yeah.
We recognize patterns.
Yep.
And like through that's why self-awareness, how things are affecting you and stuff.
Yep.
And that's part of the reason why like I can't authentically claim that I'm a Seventh-day Adventist because I authentically, because it's not, for me it would be lying.
Yeah.
It would be lying, and truth is super important.
Yeah. And by the way, by saying that, to be authentic, you have to risk judgment.
Yeah.
And just there, you saying that, you're risking judgment of the friends and family that are within the Seventh-day Adventist Church.
I do care about like people, and I care, like I can't help but care what people think about me. So like that can be sensitivity, and also when you have that you can be perceived as weak too, and that is another thing why like talking has been, I've shut myself down my whole life. I won't talk openly about things. Like if you look like I've been afraid to engage socially, and I feel a lot of men, and women, and like everybody, they're afraid to engage socially because they're afraid of being judged. I mean, I'm the type of person that it's kind of funny. I'm not going to read my own comments on our own podcast. And I look at all the comments, and on every video, you watch these Facebook videos, and then you see in the comment section, oh man,
brutal. I'm in the comments
just
as
not
well.
nice.
No.
Yeah.
I'm in. You'll find me in the comments hating too. No, just kidding.
Yeah, but you might say things that I've noticed in your comments. You may say things that's like someone could take it the wrong way, but the intent is not wrong.
No.
The intent is not. I don't want any. I'm not trying to harm you. And man, this is so important. Because. Listen, people, and this is because I've experienced it, and I see the way that other people react to it. Be nice and professional. Hate is wrong. If you want evil, that's where I've created a moral foundation. Is hate is, if you hate, hate is evil. That's Satan to me. That's where you believe Satan is this. I believe hate is Satan.
Yes.
And
absolutely.
Yeah, it's just like the only reason why I'm saying this is because like bowling people, you're just trying to get one thing over another person to feel cool or something, and you don't know the effects that's going to have on that person. Like bowling is a major problem. Like I remember having depression and playing video games, and like there's this person that's saying, hey, I know this is sensitive, but like you should go kill yourself.
Right.
Like that is,
not
and
cool.
it's awareness of what's going on in your kids, your family, people that you love. They can run into that, and they're likely never to talk about it.
Yeah.
Because it's so personal.
Yep.
Like.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you don't know where that person's
Yeah.
at. You know, you don't know the upbringing they've had. You don't know the genetic factors or the environmental factors that have shaped them and their thought processes. Because you'll have somebody that can for me, and it's probably because I was more sensitive when I was younger, but as I get older, you can heap on all the hate you want.
Yeah.
And I'm not. It's just gonna gonna bounce off me. But
yeah.
But I mean, to a certain extent. But I mean, I'm still susceptible because I still care. But that's because that's where I'm at.
Yeah.
But other people are not there, and I think bowling is I think banter and putting people down in a very fun, humorous way. Not necessarily bad, but it is all. It can be a slippery slope.
It's underlying intent inside of it.
That's what
Inside of your
matters.
consciousness.
Yes.
Is my intent trying to hurt this person or benefit this person?
Right.
And sometimes you can hurt someone with unintentionally.
Yes.
And that's why you're navigating. That's like right now, we're talking about things. I'm risking right now, and
being vulnerable.
Yeah.
Being vulnerable and exposing yourself to judgment and hate.
Yeah. It is hard.
Yeah.
But that's the thing is when you don't have dialogue, like we are suppressing ourselves as individuals, and we live in the United States where you're not supposed to be suppressed, and ideas need to be out there.
Yes.
And even if I disagree with what people are saying, a lot of people are just trying to figure things out, and they don't know.
Yeah.
They don't know. So I guarantee we'll get into politics and stuff like that too.
Yeah, politics, religion, ancient history, recent history, news.
Pretty much everything. Everything.
This is my least interested topic, but celebrity gossip. we might touch on that. Who knows?
Well, acting. Stuff
I'm gonna say something without a reference to it. I don't know who put this out. Actually, I don't remember who put this out there. But there was a comedian. Actually, I think it was Mark Norman. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. But Mark Norman is a comedian, and he has this bit. It's hilarious. And this is in reference to celebrity gossip. So. It's interesting. So he was talking about Will Smith and Jada Smith, right? That whole controversy. I mean that you can't. That's the funny thing about being in our world today. You can't even. There's so much information out there that is bombarding you, and you can't. You almost can't but help to know what's going on with a lot of the world just by being alive with our phones nowadays. Anyways, so Mark Norman, he has this bit. And he's talking about Jada and Will Smith. And of course, if you don't know, Will Smith slapped Chris Rock, another comedian, I believe at the Oscars. And because he made a joke, Chris Rock made a joke about Jada Smith. Yeah. And Mark Norman says, he's talking about Jada, it's hilarious. He's talking about Jada Smith, and he says, he says, I think what we should do is, he said, I think we should drop Jada Smith into Hamas. And he says he's like, she will just destroy it from the inside out. He's like she'll sleep with one guy, another guy will get pissed off, kill him. He says she'll end up flirting with 3 other guys. They'll end up all murdering each other. He's like this is how we solve the Hamas problem. This is how we solved it. And oh my gosh, if you guys haven't checked out Mark Norman. Hilarious comedian.
Yeah.
Hilarious. So there we go.
Yeah.
A little bit of celebrity gossip for you individuals out there.
And that is another topic. Like, yeah, like comedy is also like a risk too, because like, um, if done done in a way where you can miss something, then like yeah. Like comedy is an art, but it's so valuable because it put like that's the intent behind the comedy. What is the intent?
Yes.
It's making a joke and like dark humor and stuff like that.
Yes. We're both very dark in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
I think we find dark humor funny.
Yeah.
And I think going back to what we were talking about earlier, bullying is bad.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But there is everybody. It's like, and this is my personal belief, but it's not about what you say necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
It's the intention behind what you say. And I think that everybody can, or not everybody, but most people immediately pick up on, are you saying this with the intention of harming me or being friends with me?
Yeah.
And you know, I rib my friends. I make fun of Jacob. Jacob makes fun of me. and there's nothing wrong with that because our intention is actually to share and be community. You know, have a community.
It's actually lifting you up.
It's lifting you up.
Because the intent is lifting up, not degrading.
And that's why comedians are so awesome.
Yeah.
That's why
awesome.
They help us delve into topics that are extremely dark and depressing, and we're able to, when you put the lens on of comedy, you're able to actually look at a very frightening situation, a very dark situation, and you're able to actually face it more easily by laughing at it.
Yeah. And that's what dark humor is, and some people aren't going to be able to, or some people don't understand it. I didn't understand it.
Yeah.
And that this is just me. I don't think everyone needs to go the same route, because sometimes like there's a lot of very difficult things like in warfare, like that dark humor is very, very prevalent, and it's a coping mechanism. So that it's not that we're like malevolent or something like that when we, like if we do use dark humor, it's literally because that is a coping mechanism to get through difficult situations. Catharsis. And I hope, like, honestly, like some things I don't think that, like, I wouldn't want some of my situations, I wouldn't want someone to have to go through some of those situations.
Yeah.
And because I care. And I'm cool, and like no, like some situations in life, if you can learn, you can avoid them. And that's why I love learning and I love podcasts. It's so I don't mess up, because I've messed up many times in life. And I'm super grateful to where I'm at where I've gotten to.
Yes.
Cause it's like, don't give up because like even my mind right then, it's like, why, like this person is doing this, and I know like me, I've thought this about other people, like, and people like to unvalidate experiences, and I know like being judgmental, that's being judgmental to where you are judging a person, and I felt that, and they're unvalidating your experience. Your experience is your experience, and it is valid. You are validated, and you are the sum of the experiences that you have gone up to, and no one should guilt you for your experience of life or degrade you and be like, you didn't experience this, you didn't experience this, so I'm gonna unvalidate you. Obviously, there's the caveat of being a professional. Yeah, and having thick skin. Yeah, and because I feel like your experience is totally valid. Yeah, and but at the same time, the responsibility of holding the frame of your experience is not my responsibility. Yeah, it's your responsibility. Yeah. But I think that too often, a lot of people, and I've dealt with this myself, where I have an experience and somebody's trying to invalidate it, and because I maybe am questioning my own experience, I will buy into their frame.
buy into their frame
Yes.
of my experience, and I think that everybody's experience is valid, and I think it's important not to allow people to get under your skin and invalidate your experience. You have to hold on to that, and you're the only one that's going to be able to fight for that.
Yeah.
And all responsibility, Jacob is really into Jocko Willink, and he has a book called Extreme Ownership, correct? And part of that, as far as my understanding of extreme ownership, is that everything is your responsibility.
Yeah, and that's a hard one to swallow.
That's a tough pill.
It's accepting responsibility, and I'm gonna be straight up honest with you all. Like, I've always where a lot of my difficulties arose was looking to other people constantly, because I was looking for leadership.
Yeah.
And I was always looking to other people. Yeah. And then I'm also putting that responsibility on that person. And there have been amazing people that have supported me and were there. And but it is I have to accept responsibility for my own life and my own actions and my decisions.
You have to be your own man.
Yeah.
Or woman.
Yeah.
You have to be your own man or woman.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that where it's hurt me is ignoring situations, not taking on the challenge to better myself, and being complacent, and that's where it hurts you. And it's some of the stuff going through my bankruptcy and stuff, that was one of the hardest times in my life. And there were things that I felt my life is not in my control anymore.
Yeah.
And so I just shut down, and I'm just I'm just gonna have to just accept whatever comes in a way. Yeah. But I was able to handle get through it, and but it put me in you're already bankrupt. And then your tax situations, all that stuff follows it, and you're getting hit with $2,000 bill, $2,000 charges.
Yep. Left and right.
Yeah, and and they just keep coming.
Piling up.
That's where the advice where I listened to it was actually Ty Lopez, which I actually do like Ty Lopez.
Yeah, I do too.
And I didn't take everything that what he was saying correctly.
Yeah.
And I didn't do my due diligence, and I crashed hard. Yeah, but I felt sorry for myself. But you know what? I'm done. I made the decision. Even if you make the decision, sometimes it's still not. It's not straight there. Oh, I'm good now. No,
right.
It's still dealing with it. Still comes up mail. I literally have fear of mail.
Yeah.
Fear of mail, PTSD from mail.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know if it was going to be a scare tactic from California, Michigan, Florida.
What's some more bad news coming in?
They'll literally send scare tactics. You owe $20,000 in taxes.
Right.
And guess what, kids? I love that Joe Rogan. I got that from Joe Rogan. He's like, guess what, kids?
Yeah. And you can now kind of say it because you're getting older.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
Kids,
yeah, that's where I'm delusional. I still think I'm a kid.
Right.
But that they would literally send $20,000 threats to make you pay to make you do taxes. Because I signed up for a bunch of quarterly things, and I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah,
because that is irresponsible, not knowing what you're doing, and it, I'm not gonna make that mistake again.
Yeah.
Learn,
but at the same time, it's you went out there and you tried a business.
Yes,
and you failed. But many haven't even tried. Yeah. And I think it's
scary.
There's a quote that, it's very scary. Life is, you know what? It's like life is fraught with risk, and it's not only fraught with risk, it's everything in life is risky.
Yeah.
And everything, I think it was Jim Rohn, who's a older older.
Major network marketing guy. But I actually
really, I didn't know that
Jim
about
Rohn,
him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So he said, like, I remember I watched this video where he says everything is risky.
Mm-hmm.
Getting married is risky. Having business is risky. Investing is risky. And he said, if you think investing is risky, wait till they hand you the bill for not investing. If you think marriage is risky, wait till they hand you the bill for not getting married.
Yeah.
And on and on and on. So everything's a trade-off and everything is fraught with risk. But Jacob, you went through that period of time. You dealt with the pain and the fallout of bankruptcy, of trying a business, of failing.
Yeah.
But and maybe for a while, and I don't know, but maybe for a while you caught yourself up into the trap of casting blame, like it's this person's problem, it's this person's problem.
I did.
But eventually you come to the point, because I know I've talked to you.
It's my fault.
It's your fault.
It is accepting responsibility, Jocko Willing.
Yep.
Extreme ownership. Accepting ownership, and it is tough. And that's why I really like Gary Vee, is because he talks about empathy and like, for instance, what he just said about like these things are super critical and stuff. Like, for me, I would shut down because those things seem so difficult and not attainable that I didn't even try.
Right.
And that's kind of depression. That stuff like that, like you didn't even try. And that's why people. I mean. I see it. I see it in other people. I recognize, like, there's a lot of depressed people out there.
A ton.
A lot. And
anxious and depressed.
And like they like, for me, I'd be like, I'm just not good enough.
Yeah.
I'm just not good enough.
Yeah.
And the thing is, the best tool, the reason why I've listened to thousands of hours of podcasts, is to retrain my brain. To think like these people that are living good lives.
Yes.
Like
to emulate
that. Yeah. And it after listening to people and stuff, it's like you become. I find securement in myself because of listening to good people. So if you are not surrounded by good people, I mean, our friendship evolves over time. Yeah. Like, but we immediately had good chemistry because we both listened to a lot of podcasts.
Yep.
And it's rare to find people that are actually interested in a lot of these things that I've found.
Yes.
Like, I'll have these conversations, but the reason why we're able to talk so much about so many different things is because we have listened to. If I talk to an individual that hasn't, there's really not going to be that much conversation. There can be, actually. Well, I digress. Yeah.
But you
find out what they're interested in, and then you just keep talking about.
You just connect with them over what their interests are. But I think too. I think maybe it's not a rare person, and maybe it's just been my experience. But I think a lot of people after they graduate high school and after they've maybe graduated college or gotten their first job, either they're trapped and they're held down by relationship commitments.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Financial commitments. They get trapped in this situation where they're working a quote unquote dead end job and not using it as a stepstone to propel themselves further.
Yeah.
But they either get caught in that, or they just get complacent on their own and they have no desire for growth. Yeah. And I think it's actually after you get past high school and college, I think a lot of people stop growing. Yeah. And I think so. Then it becomes harder to find those people that are interested in growing and are still on their path of attainment. And maybe another thing is a lot of people have attained and they're happy with where they're at. But we're not there yet.
Yeah, and also another thing is, building on what you're saying, is I think that the school systems are really terrible.
Yeah.
And they teach you to not ever want to learn. And I heard a quote, this is actually from Ty Lopez, but he's like, would you rather be the person that continuously lives or learns your whole life, or do you want to be the person that just goes to college for 4 years or even 8 years and then never want to read a book again for the rest of your life?
Right.
And I think I I mean, education is so important.
So important.
Those skills are there, but the way that the like it's the way that some people think, it doesn't work for them. Like the school system failed me.
Yeah.
And in some way, and I didn't do terrible. There was things that I enjoyed, but it wasn't conducive to learning. Like the trucking school, they got it. It's all about learning. It's not trying to trick someone and make someone feel dumb that they aren't able to figure out this trick question, because it's a lot of like I've been able to get that skill because I've had to.
Because you had to.
I've had to because people like to do fuckery. Like
to put it bluntly.
Yeah, they like to play games. Some people just are devious and like to trip up people for the sake of tripping up people.
Yep.
And I see that, and when there's not good intent in that. I think that you can make a really hard question with the intent of making it good for learning better, like more conducive to learning.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I think everybody learns differently. And another reason why Jacob and I connected, I feel like, is that like we've realized that just during our conversations that we have similar desires for growth, but we also connected on we have similar struggles.
Yeah.
We have similar struggles, and not every struggle is the same, but similar. And I think that people need to find friends and people that they can talk to that have similar struggles, so that they can two minds are better than one. Yeah. And they can bounce ideas off each other and use that to propel themselves forwards. Yeah. And Jacob mentioned he's going through, or he's the school he's at, trucking school. Yeah. They're able to, the teacher, big part of it from what he's told me.
It's amazing.
Is amazing. And able to actually teach in such a way that not just someone that has a classical way of learning is able to get it and to actually be able to receive that knowledge and learn. Yeah. And it's what is it? It's 160.
Actually, I kind of want to monetize it on this.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna be honest. Like I do want to, like, if you are interested, I had a really positive experience at this school, and I'm going to talk to the school directly, and I'm gonna put in a referral link. They offer they give you $250 if you refer people to the trucking school. Yes. I'm really I've always felt like guilty about stuff like this in the past, but I don't now, because when you're selling something that you don't believe in, you're not being authentic, and that's a big hurdle that I've had in my life. Yes. So I have no guilt whatsoever of recommending this school to people, because I've had a great experience. Like, people are really professional. The teacher really, really, really cares. Yes. And it's amazing.
What's the name of the teacher?
I'm drawing a blank right now.
It's okay. It's okay. Yeah. I know, and I think a lot of times I've had this experience too. When I was in college, I would have a hard time remembering the name of the professor, because they would just come in and they'd start teaching, and it's like they're a wonderful person. I will remember the name right after this podcast is over. Right. It's like and that's where, like, for me, like, just to give you a background on how my brain works, is if I'm the more I try, sometimes remember something. Yes. My brain is a jerk. Yeah, it is. It won't let me. I'm like, why? And it's like it's easy. I had this funny experience in social studies in high school, and Hannibal was an answer on a test, and I literally read the book, and I know it, but I'm putting so much pressure on myself to remember it. Yeah. Yeah. So, yep. And I'm just
I'm not remembering right now. It'll come back to me.
Absolutely. And but 116 Trucking School.
Andre is his name.
There
we go.
Hey,
Trick work.
There we go.
I relieved the pressure.
Yeah,
there we go.
And then you remembered. Yeah. That's awesome. So, but
proud. We're growing.
So, but 160 Trucking School in Grand Rapids.
Yeah.
And you guys check it out. We'll probably we're gonna figure this out.
I'm gonna post the link. The link.
We don't even know how to do that. Probably we're gonna figure that. Okay, there we go.
I just I was planning on doing that Monday. I'm gonna talk to I'm starting to drive a manual truck Monday. I'm
double clutching. Yes.
We're learning. And honestly, like I'm gonna admit, like when you see that big truck. It is intimidating.
It's intimidating.
And I'm like, I am intimidated by it, but I'm consciously aware of it, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna like go with it, and like, because I'm not going into lizard brain mode.
Yes.
Or, yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. You're base level.
I'm facing it.
Yeah. Facing the fear, and that's the thing is. Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I totally cut you off. You go.
All right. Well, so like, I think that like. Facing fear is another thing. It's like, the older I get, the more I realize is that the biggest rewards in life come from facing fear.
Yeah.
And everybody's fear is different.
Mm-hmm.
To one person, their fear is spiders or something, and to another person they're like, do spiders, like I'll pick up a spider, I don't really care. Yeah. Or it's like some people have agoraphobia, they can't even go outside. And the thing is all the rewards in life, from my understanding and my experience, is that the rewards are on the other side of fear. Fear, the rewards are on the other side of fear, but fear is an important self-preservation mechanism. But, while you can respect it, you must progress beyond it. And I think, trucking is one of the things where, you look at a truck and it's like, most trucks are around 70 feet and you go,
yeah,
wow, dude, how am I going to drive that? When, when you're used to driving around, like a Volkswagen Golf or something, you're like, how is that going to work?
Yeah.
And there's also like risk in driving. There's a lot of risk in driving as far as hey, you could Jacob's taking on the responsibility of driving this truck, and he's taking on the responsibility of keeping those around him safe on the road. And everybody has different jobs and everybody has different risks in their jobs. But definitely in the trucking industry, that's a really big risk.
Yeah.
To think that if you make a mistake, you could plow into somebody and kill multiple people. But it's also very rewarding.
You are recognizing yourself as a professional.
Yes.
When you go into the trucking school, you are recognizing they are giving you more responsibility.
Yes.
Way more responsibility.
Yes.
And I don't plan on doing trucking forever.
Yeah, same. And by the way, I'm in the trucking industry.
Yeah.
I've been trucking for about a year. So.
Yeah.
We're thinking of trucking as a stepping stone. As a stepping stone in the engine for furthering our other interests and pursuits.
Yep.
I think there's it's like the steps to where you want to go.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you have to do things that are scary, that are boring, that are not enjoyable, but you have to use them as steps to get along the path to where you want to go.
Yeah.
And I think trucking is one of those things where it's a tough job, and I think that it can be a long life career if that's something that you really enjoy.
If it speaks to you.
If you speak to it, and I really enjoy trucking. It is freedom.
Mm-hmm.
It is you don't have to, if you're one of those people that you're a little bit more introverted. I find I think I'm a little bit of I've heard the term ambivert. I can be introverted and extroverted.
Yeah.
And I think that for myself, the huge benefits of trucking is freedom. You don't have a boss looking over your shoulder.
Yep.
You're on your own. There's a higher degree of responsibility there because you don't have that accountability from your boss.
Yeah.
But it's also it's rewarding. You're transporting goods to from factory, from warehouse to another warehouse to distribution centers, and that's how we all get our products. Nothing in this world would move without trucking.
Yep.
Nothing.
Yeah.
And we deeply need truckers. We deeply need to appreciate the job that truckers do. And I'm not just saying that because I'm in the trucking industry, but I mean every job deserves dignity and respect and appreciation.
Yeah.
Because that's what all keeps us with what we have, warm beds, blankets, coffee in the morning.
Yeah.
We would never be able to get that without trucking, and I think it's a very rewarding career, and I think it can be a very lifelong. It can be very much a lifelong career. You make good money, and there's a lot of responsibility there, but it's a good lifelong career.
Yeah.
It's also can be a stepping stone, which is what I think we're looking
Yeah.
at. But I enjoy trucking. I think Jacob will enjoy trucking.
Yeah.
I think it's a good industry filled with good people. Everybody that I've met in the trucking industry has
love truckers.
Been kind and pleasant. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're good people.
Yeah.
They're good people.
And it's all the power to you if you can some of these people the situations that you have to be able to make decisions. So you got to be mentally sharp.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go to bed early tonight at 8.
Yeah.
So I can be up,
Sharp and
ready to go. I'm gonna be responsible.
Yeah.
It's definitely something. I'd like to be a lighthearted person and make when things are difficult, make it fun. Like if if you. Yeah, it's like that's dark humor, dealing with difficult situations and finding the humor in it to help you get through it.
Yes, because we can't when the times that I've gone into things and you're filled with self-doubt, you're filled with negativity, you're not laughing, you're not smiling. Those are the times where it starts to break you down. Excuse me. But
I don't think I've laughed more in a week than I did last week.
Awesome.
Because the teacher was that cool, Andre.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Legend. He was in the military, I believe, for 16 years.
Wow.
And he genuinely cares, and he gives you information that is not required, but it's his personal experience. So he's mentoring. He's gone through over 10,000 students. Wow. And I interacted with him, and he it was a blast. It was so much fun. Yeah. So, I think he does the East Coast classes.
Okay. So he jumps back and forth.
I think he just does the East Coast classes.
Oh,
so
okay.
Michigan and stuff like that.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Yeah.
So if you guys are interested, if you're I think if you're in the situation where you're making $30,000 a year, $40,000 a year, and it's just not cutting it. It's just not. And you want to make a better life for yourself. You want to make a better life for your family. Maybe you want to use it as a stepping stone, or maybe $60,000-$70,000 a year is comfortable. I don't think
it's getting harder and harder to live with that.
Definitely
honestly, especially certain areas, like if you make less than $100,000 a year, you're gonna be struggling.
You're gonna be struggling.
And I know that sounds like a lot of money, but it's
not anymore.
Inflation is crazy. We are living in really hard times. You gotta, tough situations. You gotta learn. To do well, and I want to do well in life. I want you to do well in life. I want to grow. I want
Yeah, definitely.
And at the end of the day, we're all in it together.
We are. We think about our family as our family, like our biological family, or maybe our close friends in our family.
Yeah.
But really, you know, or even, you know, you can have national pride or state pride. You know, you rep, maybe you rep Michigan State, you know, that's, but the thing is like, wherever you're from, we're all family. This whole world is a family, and we're all each a part of it, and that's why it's so sad to see people fighting. You have, you know, I mentioned kind of in regards to celebrity gossip, Hamas, you know, in Israel, and I really don't know what I think on that. I haven't developed my opinions on that yet, but it's so sad to see people suffer, to see people killed, men, women, and children, and I think we're a family, and I hate to see that stuff going on. But going back to the trucking thing, I just wanted to mention this. $60,000 a year is not the peak.
No.
You can make more money in the trucking industry. There's you can drive tankers. You can drive. I mean, I drive a dry van.
Yeah.
But you can drive reefers. You can drive tankers. You can do flatbedding. I think reefer pays a little bit more. Flatbedding pays a little bit more. Oversized hauls pays quite a bit actually, and you
higher risk, high reward,
high risk, and
more paying attention to detail planning, more planning.
Yes.
What you're doing, because I mean, I don't know about you, but I've seen all those semi trucks that are getting smashed by trains because they get stuck in the train tracks.
Which is, I just laugh because I've watched the compilation videos of truckers that are in that situation.
Yeah, it's like we're laughing because it's dark, and it's like that's how you like mentally cope with the idea that you could actually be that person doing that.
Yes.
So like there.
Yeah. Don't stop on train tracks.
Person.
Don't stop on train tracks.
Yeah. Don't shift gears over train tracks.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah. Don't shift gears over train tracks.
Yeah.
But the thing is like this is a profession that is such a low barrier to entry.
Yeah. I mean, low barrier entry and high pay.
High pay.
Like, yeah.
So you can go from making $30,000 a year at your job, and then transition over to trucking.
Yeah.
Go through about a month is the typical for training.
Yeah.
And in 1 month, go from making that to $60,000 a year. And if you continue to develop yourself, and I haven't progressed to oversized loads or this, that, or the other, but if you continue to progress in the trucking industry, there's a lot of truckers that are making well over $100,000 a year.
Many.
And to me,
we're doing team driving. We're going to do team driving after 6 months. At least that's the goal. Obviously, life happens.
Life changes, but yep.
Yeah, after 6 months, like team driving, and it's actually kind of hard to find. Like people struggle with finding people that they get along with.
Yeah.
So I mean, and yeah, we'll tell you our experiences going through it. And, yeah, it's going to be interesting, but it's like 100,000 a year, something
roughly,
like that.
Yep. Yeah, roughly. So,
and we're going to use that money. We're interested in business, and just get that. I mean, where our strategy or my strategy is get that engine, get that initial cash flow, and there's a lot of things I don't like. I don't want to do in the business world. So that's why I want to have that good chunk of change so I can outsource all that.
Yes.
I don't want to do accounting.
Yes.
Obviously good bookkeeping records.
Yes.
You get discipline, get all that stuff down, and then you just send it over to your accountant, and then they do all that stuff for you. And like, man, I never want to go through that experience that I went through before, and it is not fun.
Yep.
There's some people that I respect. They're able to start without that large amount of funding and just like crush life.
Yep.
All the power to you.
Yep.
Like legends, and
Yep. But everybody has different minds, and everybody are good at their they excel in different areas.
Yeah.
And I think going back to self-awareness, that's why it's important to have self-awareness, to know where you're at and to know what you're good at, what you're not good at. And then you can kind of push the advantage of what you're naturally gifted with, or that you've worked on.
Yeah.
So if you guys are interested in trucking, if you want to to go from making $30,000 a year, $20,000 a year, $40,000 a year, or you just don't like your job,
Yeah.
and you want to change it up. You want
to 60,000.
Yep, change it up 60,000. Progress, make 100,000. Do
Yeah.
team driving. Do oversized hauls, oversized loads. Check out 160 trucking.
Yeah.
Rapids,
And
Michigan.
one other thing that like just because I don't plan on doing it, even if I do it for 6 months or a year, what I have gained a lot of value just overall driving. Like there's things on the road, like you see people doing crazy stuff, and I mean I've been on the road a lot. I've traveled all over the United States. People think that they are actually good at driving. Like I thought I was good at driving when I was young.
Yeah.
I was not aware of anything. I've had many close calls.
Yeah.
And what trucking school really pounds into your head, awareness. So it's self-awareness.
Yep.
It is adding another level of awareness because you're taking on more responsibility. You have to be more aware of the people and everyone around you.
Yep.
And I think that is awesome.
Yep.
I'm already a better driver because of it.
Yep.
So.
Yep. It's very cool. It's very cool.
I mean, yeah.
Well, so
yeah. Probably about to wrap this up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we rambled along and we jumped around, but in the future I think we're gonna start picking topics and maybe have a little bit of structure. We'll see where this thing goes, and it'll be interesting to kind of gain a community, share and grow. Yeah. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, I hope you enjoyed listening to everything. This isn't very easy to do, but I'm like honestly I really enjoyed the whole conversation stuff, and I think this is going in a positive direction.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to be as authentic as I possibly can.
Yep.
So yeah, but I hope you all have a great rest of whatever day you listen to this on.
Yeah. Yeah.
May not be released. It's Sunday. I don't remember even what day.
It's
Sunday.
It's Sunday.
I mean the date. Sunday.
Oh, I believe it's the 9th.
The 9th?
I believe it's the 9th. I'm possibly wrong on that.
Yeah.
But regardless, I think I just want to say thanks for listening to us, whoever you may be out there. And my name is Patrick. Jacob.
Yep.
And we'll for now, Hormetic Monks.
Hormetic Monks.
Out.
All right. Take it easy. See you guys.